Hi, can you hear me in the back of the room? Raise your hand if you can. Okay, great. Well, thanks everyone for coming. Welcome to our latest Tesla sort of service center plus. We're out in the field here, but we made it nice and roomy, so there's plenty of room to service cars and stock spare parts and that kind of thing. So I'm pretty excited to be here in Germany. I've been to Germany many times, and to be here and to make some announcements that I think you'll be pretty happy to hear. We're going to make a big investment in Germany. In fact, right now, Germany is our top focus in the world. So, yeah. And I'll tell you why. Okay, sure.
Gotcha. Both.
That's stereo. It's like trying to eat 2 ice cream cones. Okay. All right. So the reason is that this is a really big and important market for us. In fact, for our Tesla Roadster, this was the second biggest market in the world after the US. Germany is obviously a place that appreciates engineering and appreciates great automotive engineering in particular. And I feel like if we can't do well in Germany, that's not a good sign. So it's very important that we do well here. And for a very discerning buying public, and that's used to looking at the best in the world, we definitely have to do everything that's needed to succeed. So I actually think it's going to be long term for us. Still, even the second largest market in the world, third largest market after the US and China, and I think one of the highest in per capita sales as well. It's also a country obviously where you can go quite fast, which is really cool. In fact, I was just driving the Model S on the Autobahn on one of the unrestricted sections, and it was a lot of fun. But there are a few things I said I was going to announce. One is that for any buyers of the Model S, we're going to offer a free optional high-speed tuning. So if
how many kilometers?
So whether you bought the car already or will buy the car in the future, if you're someone who likes to ride at the sort of top speed on the Autobahn, then we will tune the car. We'll do a custom tune of the car to make it feel really great at top speed. So most other parts of the world, it's driving at sort of over 200 kilometers an hour. You don't have to worry too much about that in most parts of the world. I can tell you in LA it's difficult to get above 50 kilometers an hour. But here it's important, so we want to make sure we take care of that. I'm actually going to send my top engineering team over here to tune it just right for the German road. So that's and then, as I said, this will apply to new cars purchased in the future and will be done for free as a retrofit to existing cars. Then the next big thing is that we're making a huge investment in superchargers. So yeah. I've asked my team to accelerate the supercharger deployment as much as possible. So Germany is actually going to have the second highest number of superchargers anywhere outside of the US. And in fact, more superchargers per capita than the US. and this is going to happen very, very rapidly. In fact, we're breaking ground right now on the first 6 superchargers, and then we're going to rapidly ramp that up to the point where, I mean, every quarter will probably double the number of superchargers all the way through the end of next year. So our goal is by the end of the first quarter, so by March next year, that more than half of the German population is within range of a supercharger, and that by the end of next year, it's 100%.
Yeah.
How many years now?
I'm not sure of the exact number. It's probably on the order of 40 to 50. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. We want the superchargers not just to be the max distance, but to be maybe around 200 kilometer spacing, something like that. So it's convenient. You don't always have to stop at the same place. So
If you go fast, you will need.
yes. This is indeed part of the reason. Is that if you go really fast, you need the superchargers a bit more often. And there's also going to be a power upgrade, I should say, to the superchargers. So they'll be at the 135 kilowatt level versus 120 kilowatts in the US. And this I think there's upgrades beyond that will maybe take it even further. So the goal with the supercharger is that when you stop alongside the highway, and these will be places where you'd normally stop on a trip to where you normally stop to get fuel, get a bite to eat, or get a snack. But there'll be a bunch of locations where you can park your car, and so you can park it, plug it in, and then get a bite to eat, hit the restroom, grab a coffee, be on your way, and your car is charged and ready to go. So you can be in and out in 20, 25 minutes type of thing.
How much range do you have if you use the high-speed option on the German Autobahn?
Oh, well, it depends on how fast you go. Depends on the range.
I saw the chart like...
Yeah. Well, the faster you go, since the drag force increases with the square of the speed, you lose range quite fast at the very high speeds. But that's true of any car. That's true of a gasoline car or anything. And I think
200 kilometers is possible.
Yeah, 200 kilometers should be no problem. Yeah, and there will also be a navigation upgrade that's coming out over the air navigation upgrade probably in December. That will calculate least time to destination. So including taking into account the supercharger locations. So if you want to get to a destination the fastest, it's going to figure out how fast you should drive, how long you should stop, and navigate you to the supercharger stations along the way, and then to your ultimate destination, and we'll calculate that whole route with the least time possible. And it's even going to do things like look up the wind speed on the internet and factor that into it. So take into account elevation, wind speed, and the weight of the car and that kind of thing. So it should be very accurate. So big supercharger investment. Also a big service center investment. We're going to be expanding our service center coverage dramatically. In fact, even in the next few months, but certainly by the end of next year. By the end of next year, we expect to have probably 80% of Germany within about 100 kilometers of a Tesla service station. So, it'll be it's a big investment, and we're going to be hiring a lot of people. And if there's any, if you know anyone you think would be great to add to the Tesla team, please ask them to submit their information. We're looking for great people, fast-growing company, lots of opportunity, and yeah, it's a fun work environment and also some other good things. Those are the three main things that I wanted to announce. And there'll be kind of a press release with more detail that goes out on, I think, Thursday morning, with you know, spelling out where some of the official locations will be and that kind of thing, and giving maps. But I wanted to tell you guys first, kind of ahead of the press, and because really people like yourselves are extremely important to the future of Tesla. We don't have the budget to spend money on advertising, so the only way that we're able to grow is by good word of mouth. You know, so to the degree that there are people who really believe in the sustainability, that really believe in the electric car revolution, people like yourselves are very important to the success of Tesla and to the success of electric vehicles in general. Because, as you know, there are many people out there who don't believe electric cars. They think nothing's going to happen. You know, if we have to overcome that negativity, otherwise it's going to be way too slow, and there will be tremendous damage to the environment as a result. So word of mouth is super important. It's vital, we need you to be able to go out there and talk to people that you know and say, hey, yeah, this electric cars, they're ready. It's time to make it happen. And then if the big car companies see that our sales are good, and that we are actually, maybe we're taking a little bit of market share. I mean, we're a tiny company, so, you know, drop in the bucket, but if they see, oh look, people are buying these cars, then they will have no choice but to conclude that electric cars are the right way to go, and then that will accelerate the transition to sustainable transport. So every time every time a Model S is driving down the road and somebody sees it, and you know, or a friend gets in and you take them for a ride, and their eyes open wide and they're like, "Whoa, this is for real." It's not like I read in the papers, you know, or you know. So
your customers are the best salesmen.
Exactly. And it's a very important thing for the world. So there are lots of naysayers out there, and lots of people who say, oh, electric cars is never going to happen, we should just be resigned to burning hydrocarbons forever. Well, not forever, until they run out, of course. And then, you know, and then they'll say certain technologies like fuel cell, and it's like, oh god, fuel cell is so bullshit. I mean, it's so rubbish. The only reason they do fuel cell is because they don't really believe it. It's because it's something that they can. It's like a marketing thing. But the reality is that if you took a fuel cell vehicle and you take best case for a fuel cell vehicle in terms of the mass and volume required to go up to a particular range, as well as the cost of the fuel cell system, and then, you know, if you took the best case of that, it doesn't even equal the current state of the art in lithium-ion batteries. So there's no way for it to be a workable technology. And then putting up a huge hydrogen distribution structure is also extremely difficult. And hydrogen is quite a dangerous gas. You know, it's suitable for the upper stage of rockets, but not for cars.
I think most of us saw the film Who Killed the Electric Car.
Right, exactly.
Most of us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do you see Revenge of the Electric Car?
I have my vision too.
Okay, great. Anyway, so it's really important that we work as fast as possible to accelerate sustainable transport. The sooner it happens, the less environmental damage that will occur. and the world will be in a far better situation. So that's what we're trying to do at Tesla. So that's really the goal. That's why we put so much time and effort into trying to grow the company. I can also say that every time somebody buys a Model S, they're helping pay for the mass market, lower cost car in the future. So every bit of money that we make, we don't issue dividends. We don't have high salaries. My salary is $1 a year. I spend it well there. I spend it well. And
I have no shares.
I do have shares. But I don't sell them. In fact, I promised that I will be the last one to sell shares.
Oh, that's very good.
Yeah, Captain should go down with his ship. Hopefully it's... Wait a second.
Give the shares to
The captain should be the last one to comfortably exit the ship.
My question is, could you please explain this issue,
Sure,
maybe?
absolutely.
And explain what your measures are and going to be in the future to avoid such things?
Sure. Well, we should probably... I wrote a blog piece which might be worth doing a translation and sending it out. But it actually it gave us an opportunity to explain that in fact an electric car, or at least our electric car, is 5 times less likely to catch fire than a gasoline car. So in this particular accident, it was a very peculiar accident where this guy drove over a piece that fell off a truck. It was a big curved piece of a fender, and it went under the car and then jackknifed up into the battery pack with a huge impact. And nonetheless, he was able to drive the car off the highway and then get out, and he wasn't even injured at all. And just the front portion of the battery pack caught fire. The net result is, he's fine. But if it had been a gasoline car, he could easily have been killed just because of the force of that impact would have potentially gone into the passenger compartment and hurt somebody. So the objective statistics right now are that the Model S is about 5 times less likely to catch fire than any gasoline car. So a typical gasoline car has 1 fire every 20 million miles, and our car is averaging 1 fire every 100 million miles. So, that's right, exactly. That's a good point. I keep this. Thank you for bringing up this good point. The Model S, to refer that point, the Model S, when it was tested by the U.S. government, got 5-star in every category.
5.4.
Yeah, technically. The official score was 5-star in every category, but in reality it was more like 5.4. But there is a statistical measure that they provide to all manufacturers, which is it's usually too technical for public consumption, so they just provide it to the manufacturers. But it's called the statistical probability of likelihood of an injury, and it was the lowest probability of injury of any car ever tested in history by the U.S. government.
First, I'm Matt, I'm coming from Slovenia, I'm not from Germany, unfortunately. First, I would like to thank you that you enabled us to come 450 kilometers with 1 battery pack today.
Oh, great, excellent. Was that on a single charge?
Yeah, single charge.
Wow. So this,
and with the average 100 km/h speed. So.
Wow, okay, that's great. So I don't know if everybody heard that, but Shaman drove all the way from Slovenia at an average of 100 kilometers an hour and drove 450 kilometers. On a single charge, without recharging.
And We already ordered 20 cars.
Wow! Thanks!
So, we actually developed the car sharing business model in Slovenia, and we would like to make Slovenia as soon as possible self-sufficient mobility case. So, my question first is related to that. We would like to build infrastructure with maximum radius 50 kilometers.
Okay.
As we are too small, even if 20 cars in 2 million people means like 3,000 cars in 300 million in US. We know we are too small to get supercharger as fast as Germany, but we would like to build it by ourselves.
Okay.
So the question is, can we approach to you and ask you for some idea how to manage it in best way? And the second is we are app of N. We already developed a few global apps, and we would like to develop that for Tesla platform, but it's not open yet. It's not available for us. But I heard in history from yourself that it's going to be open, if I'm right.
For developers?
Yes, for developers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The first order of business for as far as the car is concerned is to make sure that we have the core functionality in place. And that we've developed the software that allows it to be used in multiple markets around the world. So we do need to do multi-language support and a few other things. But I think we can probably open it up for development, I'd say maybe towards the end of next year, because then we will have done the local language implementations and local navigation implementations and so forth. There's a lot of localization software that's needed. So we need to kind of get that framework done. And do a few basic things like upgrade the browser to Chrome and that kind of thing. And then that's when I think it'll be ready to do other development. And it's just basically written in Linux using the Qt library. So if somebody's written an app for Android or to a less extent the iPhone, it should be pretty easy to port the app to Linux, because Android is basically modified Linux. So I think that could be interesting. We're also considering adding a pure Android emulator to the car. So then you could literally run an Android program in a window on the car.
Here, to the left, to the left.
Okay, sorry. Unfortunately, I've got like lights in my face. Okay. Genetics and artificial intelligence. Although in both genetics and artificial intelligence, those are dangerous fields. You know, it may hopefully good, but maybe not.
Elon, right now here.
Okay.
Hello, Elon. I'm Florian. I have a green utility, so we do the same what we do to the big automotive companies. We do to the Aeons and RVs of this world. So, are you planning any cooperation with the green utility companies here in Germany to supply, so to enable your customers to have a green and clean electricity tone as well?
We haven't done anything yet, but we certainly are open to ideas. So again, I'd maybe talk to Catherine, and if you have any suggestions, we'd love to hear them.
Excellent. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Elon. Elon.
Sorry, it's like
Yeah.